Kmart Corporation is an American big box department store chain that opened in 1962.
Ugh, I hate these big ass prices.
Sounds like you could use some big ass savings.
I'd love some big ass savings.
Kmart Shop Your Way members save 30 cents a gallon.
30 cents a gallon? That's a big ass discount.
Big ass discount.
A really big ass discount.
Really big ass discount.
Honey, this solves your big ass problem.
Totally solves my big ass problem.
Dad, look at that big ass truck.
Big ass man.
Hello, big ass man.
Shop Your Way members get big ass savings. Save 30 cents a gallon when you spend $50 or more at Kmart.
In 1962, the company opened its first discount store in the suburb of Detroit, calling it Kmart. In 1959, coinciding with the opening of the first Kresge store in Puerto Rico, Henry Blair Cunningham succeeded to the presidency of SS Kresge Company. Cunningham had been with Kresge since 1928. A former newspaper reporter, he had worked his way up from trainee status through the store manager ranks, eventually becoming general vice president. Twin assignments went with this position. One was to tour all of the Kresge U.S. stores, assessing the future position of the company and its competitors in the variety store industry, and the other was to prepare himself for the company presidency. Cunningham's travels convinced him that Kresge's competitors were not other variety chains, but the new discounters aiming for fast inventory turnover, which they could achieve by lower markups on a large assortment of small items. Discounting, in fact, was a return to Sebastian Kresge's basic merchandising philosophy, which would be a bulwark against competition in the future, just as it had been in the past. Cunningham, after a period of testing, concluded that higher sales volume rather than higher markups would boost the company's profits, which had dropped during the 1950s. Under his leadership, SS Kresge Company opened the first Kmart named store at 27,000 square feet, which was referred to by Kresge as a Bantam Kmart and was in fact originally intended to be a Kresge store until late in the planning process on January 25, 1962 in San Fernando, California. It had opened just 6 months before the first Walmart opened, while the first ground-up full-size Kmart with 80,000 square feet opened on March 1, 1962 in Garden City, Michigan. Cunningham and Sam Walton were both inspired by Ann and Hope, which they each visited in 1961. Within a year, there were 17 others. Unlike Kresge stores, Kmarts were not placed in shopping centers, but were built in plazas by themselves to avoid internal competition and also to provide ample parking. The Kmart stores were an instant success. By 1963, there were 63 facilities, 51 of which provided repair and maintenance services for automobiles. 3 years later, the number of Kmarts had swelled to 122. Numerous Kresge stores, mostly in deteriorating business areas, were renamed Jupiter Discount Stores and were converted to facilities offering a limited variety of low markup, fast-moving merchandise like clothes, drugstore items, and houseware. By 1966, there were almost 100 Jupiter stores in operation. By 1969, SS Kresge Company had 1,022 company stores. Company founder Sebastian Spearing Kresge died on October 18, 1966, at the age of 99. The course charted for the 1970s brought Kresge an annual sales growth of 22% from 1972 to 1976, with 1976 sales totaling $8.4 billion. The company, however, was not without its failures. A fast food drive-in chain called Kmart Chef, set up in 1967, closed in 1974 after having peaked at just 11 units. The costly credit card operation, used by only 9% of Kmart customers, was withdrawn the same year, while a $65 million purchase of a planned marketing associates, an insurance company renamed Kmart Insurance Services, Inc., brought a loss of $8 million in 1975. By this time, the company's 1,206 Kmarts were accounting for almost 95% of sales. For this reason, shareholders changed the company name to Kmart Corporation. During the 1970s, Kmart put a number of competing retailers out of business. Kresge, Jupiter, and Kmart stores mainly competed with other store chains like Zayres, Ames, Bradley's, Caldor, Hills, and those that were operated by MMG Macquarie stores, Macquarie, McKellen, H.L. Green, J.J. Newberry's, S.H. Kress, TJNY, Silvers, and eventually G.C. Murphy Company. In 1981, the 2000th Kmart store opened, and by the end of 1981, there were 2,055 Kmart stores across the United States and Canada. Kmart made a number of acquisitions in the 1980s, including Texas-based Furr's Cafeterias Inc., a 76-unit chain. In 1984, they purchased 9-unit Texas chain called Home Centers of America, Inc. Kmart made Home Centers operations into warehouse-type stores, changing the name to Builders Square. Next came Walden Books, costing $300 million for 845 stores that produced sales of $417 million in 1983. An Oregon-based chain of 167 drugstores called Payless joined the growing lineup in 1985. In 1984, there was another change in Kmart's strategy when apparel division president Joseph Antonini launched a new line of clothes named for actress Jaclyn Smith that helped to turn apparel into the company's fastest-growing business. Antonini's strategy had added both racing driver Mario Andretti to the list for automotive accessories promotions and caterer Martha Stewart for kitchen and houseware support. In 1987, the Kmart Corporation sold its remaining 76 Kresge and Jupiter stores in the United States to Macquarie stores, and the brands were almost entirely discontinued. In 1989, Kmart acquired Pace Membership Warehouse and the remaining 49% of Makro, converting Makro stores to Pace formats. It also opened Sports Giant, a group of sporting goods stores. In 1990, it bought the Sports Authority and converted the Sports Giant stores into Sports Authority. Kmart acquired OfficeMax in October of 1991. The Blue Light Special was a sales promotion within the store for a short period within store hours only. It was advertised using a rotating blue light in the same style a police car used and was announced over the public PA system with the phrase, "Attention Kmart shoppers," a phrase which became a pop culture reference. The original Blue Light Special was first introduced in 1965, but was retired in 1991, but the concept was revived several times over the years. The company also offered exclusive merchandise by Martha Stewart, Kathy Ireland, Jaclyn Smith, Lauren Hutton, and Talia, as well as Sesame Street, Rosie O'Donnell, Penny Marshall, who became among the company's most recognized spokespersons. The Super Kmart Center, or Super Kmart, opened in an all-new location on July 25, 1991 in Medina, Ohio, featuring a full-service grocery with a full-service deli, seafood counter, and bakery, and it also had a general merchandise like many Kmarts had. Big Kmart opened in Chicago, Illinois in 1997. The format focused on home fashions, children's apparel, and consumables, the pantry. Most Kmart stores were remodeled to this format during the late 1990s and early 2000s. During the 1997 and 1998, Kmart converted 1,245 of their regular Kmart stores into Big Kmart stores. In 1995, Kmart spun off the Sports Authority, as well as sold its money-losing in-store auto repair centers to Penske Corporation for $112 million to operate them as Penske Auto Center. Penske later closed the auto repair centers in 2002 as a result of a payment dispute with Kmart. Kmart's profitability and sales peaked in 1992, and the financial decline began due to competition with Walmart, Target, and the internet. In January of 2002, Kmart filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. Kmart closed more than 300 stores in the United States, including all of the Kmart stores in Alaska, and laid off over 34,000 workers as part of the restructuring process. The next year, Kmart closed an additional 326 stores due to lack of profitability and poor sales. In May of 2003, Kmart emerged from bankruptcy protection as a subsidiary of the new Kmart Holding Corporation. In July of 2004, a new Kmart logo featured a large red K with Kmart in small block letters underneath was announced. In August of 2004, Kmart and E! Entertainment Network announced a new exclusive cross-promotional clothing brand called Attention. Attention was launched as a new clothing brand that would be sold only at Kmart stores and would be used to promote E! News Live. Kmart had previously signed a similar deal with the WB network to have the cast of 5 WB shows wear Kmart branded clothing during shows. In November of 2004, Kmart announced its intention to purchase Sears for $11 billion. As part of the merger, the Kmart Holding Corporation would be transferred to the new Sears Holdings Corporation, and Sears would be purchased by the new Sears Holdings Corporation. The new corporation announced that it would continue to operate stores under both the Sears and Kmart brands. In 2014, news reports indicated that Kmart was liquidating dozens of stores across the United States. Kmart's parent company, Sears Holdings Corporation, underwent financial distress throughout the year, sparking an unspecified number of closings of Sears and Kmart locations amid vendors' and lenders' concerns about its liquidity. From 2014 until 2018, Kmart closures continued with an average of 60 to 80 stores closing a year throughout the country. In October of 2018, Sears Holdings filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy and announced that it would close 142 stores, including 63 Kmart stores.
Well, attention Kmart shoppers. The company's last surviving store in Michigan will be closing.
News 8's David Horak has the details on the closure and reaction from community members in Marshall. New tonight.
It's been a hallmark, in the state, and now it's gone.
A store chain whose roots began in Garden City will close its last Michigan store. An associate with the big Kmart on West Michigan in Marshall told News 8 over the phone the store will be closing sometime in November. While an exact date was not disclosed, loyal shoppers told us they were surprised.
It's sad because just with everything going on during the pandemic, and now we got more people unemployed.
Without driving to another city, there's not an option.
And the store's upcoming closure is not only having shoppers talking, but also city leaders.
For a lot of firsts, we hate to be something for the last.
Marshall City Manager Tom Tarkowitz says he knew the store's impending closure was inevitable after noticing their stock decreasing over the years. But he too was disappointed to hear the news, given how there are no remaining national chain stores in the area.
It was still somewhere we could drive a mile from City Hall as we stand and pick up any item that we needed to. So it's going to be missed by the community.
Until its closure, the store is still hiring temporary positions, and so far there is no word on what the future holds for the building and its property. We reached out to Transformco, the parent company of Sears and Kmart, for further details. They have yet to return our request for comment. In Marshall, David Horak.
In February of 2019, it was announced that the U.S. bankruptcy judge approved the sale of the most lucrative part of the Sears holdings to Edward Lampert, allowing the surviving part of the company that operated both Sears and Kmart to remain in business at the expense of suppliers, landlords, employees, pensioners, the U.S. government, and other creditors. Kmart would have 202 locations after the sale was to be completed. The sale of 202 Kmart stores to Transform Holdco was finalized in February of 2019, with the remaining Kmart locations liquidated to pay off Sears Holdings creditors. The Kmart store in Marshall, in the chain's birth state of Michigan, the last big Kmart store operating in the United States, closed on November 21st, 2021. As of August 2021, the list of number of open stores is at 17. The chain is expected to have only 12 stores left, 6 of them in the continental United States, by the end of 2021. Thank you for watching. If you like this content, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Thanks.